So let's go ahead and learn how to paint textures into our world, to our map. Now, in landscape mode, I have this panel here for paint, where I should be able to paint in different materials. But to do that, we need to set up the material to work with. I'm gonna go to my content drawer. I'll go to my content folder. I'm going to go to materials. I'm gonna right click, new folder. I'll call this landscape, because our landscape materials are going to go in here. Open this up. Let's go to right click material. I'll call this M_landscape. I'll double click that. Now for this, we really only care about base color and normal. There's a bunch of other things we don't really need to worry about. Other than let's set the roughness to 1. That's not shiny at all. And we're going to add in something called, so right click, landscape, layer blend. This will blend two textures together for us. I'll click and drag that over there and make that the base color. And here we can add in layers. I'll add in one layer and then I'll expand this out. I'll call this one grass. And I'll add in another layer, and I'll call this one rocks. And you can add in more layers if you want to later. What do we do with this? Well, we can connect different materials and kind of blend them together. And to do that, we are going to use textures. So if we go to the content drawer, starter content, you'll see a folder for textures. Click on that. And you can see that we have the images that are on the default materials. And you can see how they're kind of combined together. So for instance, if I go in here and search grass, I have ground grass, and with a D, that's diffuse, the color, and then N, the normal map. I'm going to drag both of these in. So I'm going to need them for different things. I'm going to go back into my content drawer and I'm going to search for rock. There's different rocks to work with. I personally am going to work with the basalt one, but you can pick a different one, or you can even go completely off and use brick or something else entirely. But I'm just going to use rock, and I'm going to grab basalt D and basalt N, and just pay attention to which one's which. So for texture sample, we're going to grab RGB and connect that to layer grass. And the same thing here with the rock, connect that to layer rocks. Then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to highlight it, Control C, Control V, make a whole new one. And then we're going to connect this to normal. Normal is a visual trick where we use color data to kind of give the illusion of depth. And we want to blend this top one right here, which is grass. You can double check which one it is, like selecting it and looking over here in the texture. That's grass. Then this one's going to be my rock one. And then apply. Now you're not going to see a material here. It's not going to look right. I'm not going to do anything yet. That's fine. But we'll save that for right now. And then I'm going to go to my testing ground, to my map. And then I'm going to set the material for this in the selection mode. So I'll go to selection mode, select the ground. And for my material here, I'm going to set this to be landscape. Now it's all black. Not really what we want it to be yet. That's fine. We'll fix that in just a moment. I'm going to go back to landscape mode. And in the paint view, now I'm getting some errors. I'm getting this big red circle saying that we can't work with this yet. That's easy enough to fix. Here, for our layers, we need to create some layer info. So I'm going to hit this little plus button. I'm going to create a weight blended layer. And I'm going to put this inside of materials landscape. And we'll call it grass info. We'll just leave it at that. Click save. And then it made everything grass. Then for rocks, I'm going to go through here and do the same thing. Weight blended layer. Put this in the material landscape folder. And now we have rocks. What did that do for us? Well, first off, it made it so everything is grass. But we can actually, using the paintbrush here, I can change the strength and the size. And if I select rocks, anywhere I paint will be painted to get that rock texture instead. I can undo if I don't like it. And so I can paint in a rock texture, rock material, wherever I want my players to kind of really see, hey, there's something here. You should follow this path. And if I change the brush size, make it bigger, and I can increase the fallout, that'll change the feathering. So that way it's a little less extreme at the edges. I can switch to different shapes and get different effects. And if you have more layers, you can just switch between them. And like, for instance, I switch back to grass. I can paint grass back on over this stuff. Then just like with the other tools, you have smooth, which will smooth out some of the edges. You have flatten, which will make it less smooth, basically. You can play around with it. But as you can see, it looks real weird. Everything's like, it almost looks pixelated. It's because the texture is repeating a bunch of times. Kind of needs to be spread out or flattened out and not repeating so often or so close to each other. We can change that in the material for the landscape. We do that by doing something called texture coordinates. So in here, I'm going to right click. I'm going to search for texture coordinate right there. And we connect this to the UV block. We'll learn about what this stuff is later, but for right now, I'm just going to work with it. I'm going to connect this here, same thing. And then for the normal map things as well, I'll do the same thing here. And then here. Now, what does this do for us? Let's us change the tiling where they're not so close together. You'll see what I mean in a second. So you can see that the grass is a really clear, defined set pattern. Go into here, go to the texture coordinate, and then I reduce the UV tiling to like 0.1 on U tiling and V tiling. Click apply. I can see that it's a lot more spread out. Still pretty tiled, still pretty clearly just a repeating texture, but it's better. Maybe I want it to be 0.005. Maybe that'll do better. There we go. Now this didn't change the normal map. The normal map is still the same. So I need to go through and do the same thing here. I'll find the normal map for the grass and set this to 0.05 and 0.05. And then I'll do actually the same thing for the basalt, for the rock. I'm going to change this to 0.7. I'm picking that number out of thin air. I'll do that for both of these. I'm choosing to do this just to keep it different from the grass. Apply and save. And now that looks a little better. It's still not perfect though. We can mix this up a little bit by adding in more layers. So if I go up here and I move this up, I select this layer, landscape layer blend. I can add in another one, and I'll call this moss. I'll do the same thing with this one down here. The name has to be the same. It's important that they're the same. Then I'll go into my content drawer and I'll go to my textures that I have built in, and I'll search for moss, and I have my moss diffuse and my moss normal. And again, just connect these up the same way. I'll set the U tiling for this to be 0.1. Then click apply. Now if I go back into landscape mode, I have my moss here. I'm going to add in layer info. Put this inside of my materials landscape, just the same. And now I have a third material, so I can kind of add in a little bit more variety. If I set this to noise, make this pretty big, I can kind of just smatter in some variety. I'm gonna paint, reduce the strength a lot. And I can kind of just paint in some, again, just some variety, clean up the edges, make it look a little different. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you get the idea what you can do with this. Already that looks so much cleaner, so much clearer. Adding some variety in the kind of rock, so maybe making another rock layer and kind of just painting in a little bit here and there. We'll add some variety. And then test it out and see how it looks in the game. Now let's say you change your mind, you don't want to use this material. Let's say we want to get rid of the rock, the basalt. I'm going to delete that. Content drawer, go back to my textures, and let's say I want to work with this cobblestone. Yeah, I'll do cobblestone. There's rock, rough, smooth, pebble. I'm going to pick rough. Connect that back in. And then same with the normal map. Apply, save. And that automatically should change everything in that layer. And it did. And there we go. Now a different kind of material, different look, different feel, different vibe. Now you can import any material you want to do this. Just know it actually doesn't work from the material. It works from textures. This does not work from materials. You have to actually get the whole texture in. You could, if you find a material that you really, really like, replicate it perfectly. To do so, you would have to go in, find the material, and then double click it to open it up. And you can see where things are connected, that this whole thing is the base color up here. I could copy this, Control C, and then Control V, paste it in. And I'll connect this instead of grass. No particular reason, just picked it. And then find where it says normal. Where's the normal stuff? Normal, okay, blah, blah, blah. Right here, I'm gonna copy all this. Has to do with normals. I can tell us to do with normals because it's connected. Copy. Go in here for normals and paste. And I'll use this instead of grass. This replicated that pattern pretty closely. It still doesn't have the emissive or whatever. It doesn't have all the things. This has some other settings for like roughness and emissive color. Well, here's the deal. You actually do those other settings here the same way. You make another landscape layer blend, set it up, and connect those nodes for what you have if you want them. I'm not going to do that. I just want to show you that you could do that. I'm going to delete these. So we now have the makings of a game, right? You have the ability to build out a level. You have an objective where you need to get all of the items. You have controls. You can jump, you can move, you can look. You have the ability to lose health and, end the game. Now it really comes down to finalizing, customizing your game, getting your level the way you want it to, designing it, adding in traps, adding in fun, basically. That's gonna be it for this one. Thanks.